So Moana came out, I guess this was recently, and this movie has gone, it seems like, the same direction that basically every other Disney live action movie has gone on.
You know, one of the things I appreciate about modern culture is how quick and efficient everything's become. See, it used to be that you had to wait at least a generation to see your favorite childhood movies and franchises get completely bastardized by pointless, creatively bankrupt,
Now it takes 10
soul-sucking,
years.
cash-grab remakes. But Disney, bless their shriveled black hearts, have found a way to fast-track the whole process with Moana, a live-action remake of an animated movie that came out in 2016.
Is it that recent? Yeah,
What are we even doing here, lads? Like, seriously, this is like some kind of weird social experiment at this point. How much of the same crap can you shove down people's throats before the gag reflex kicks in and they try to fight you off? Well, in Tatiana's case, you'd be quite surprised. Anyway, the point I'm making here is that live-action Moana, coming barely a decade after the original and hot on the heels of Moana 2, has got to be one of the most baffling movie releases of the entire year. Or any year for that matter.
Jesus.
I just can't figure this one out, man. Snow White, for all its faults, I could at least understand on a commercial level because
they had Snow White came out in like, what, 1946 or something? That was a long time ago.
was a remake of a movie from the 1930s. This is a
36.
remake of a
Holy
film
shit.
so new that the little kids who
37.
watched it back in the
Wow.
day are still teenagers now.
Yeah.
Anyway, all of this is my way of saying that Moana is a bad movie. Not bad in the same way that Supergirl was bad. Jesus, it might suck, but it's not dangerous. But bad in the way that a low-effort cover band charging the same ticket prices as the original is bad. Bad in the way
I
that
know,
a
it's a
cheap
thing.
Temu knockoff of some high-quality brand furniture is bad.
I don't know where they're getting this idea that everybody wants live action remakes. I mean, I feel like live action remakes only really appeal to like an older audience. Because like my dad would always tell me that he had no interest in watching animated film or like anime. Because he was like, well, you know, if it's drawn, anything can happen, and there's not like any stakes to it. Which is like, I mean, there's no stakes to any of it, right? It didn't make sense to me, but at the same time, that's what he thought.
Ultimately, what this film is a copy, a lazy replica,
That's
an
he's
inferior clone of
78.
something that was actually pretty good. A movie that has absolutely no reason for existing except the hope of squeezing more money out of retarded Disney audiences.
Yeah.
And apparently it's not doing too well at that either.
Oh my God.
Anyway, let's
To
get the
lose $100 million? How do you lose $100 million? Oh my God.
plot synopsis over with.
Holy
And this should
shit.
be an easy one because it's literally the exact same story as the original. So anyway, Moana is a young girl living on an island in the South Pacific, and in typical Disney fashion, she dreams of leaving her small life behind and exploring the wider world. But
Another
her family tell her no, she has to stay behind and take command of the tribe. But when
course.
shit hits the fan, her gran tells her that some arsehole named Maui once stole the heart of an ocean goddess like 1,000 years ago, and if they don't find him and get him to return it soon, their island's gonna get destroyed by a bad volcano demon.
That's
that
cool.
right there is her quest. So she sets sail and immediately gets shipwrecked, but that's okay
I mean,
because
this doesn't look like this. Is this movie bad?
she just so happens to wash up on Maui's island so that the rest of the plot can happen, and so the movie becomes a kind of road trip buddy comedy on
yeah.
the ocean
I-
where
I-
Moana
yeah.
has to convince Maui to return the heart, but he's like, nah, I'm not
This doesn't
doing
seem
that
like
until
it's
you help
bad.
me get my magical fish hook back. Jesus
Okay.
fucking Christ, talk about busy work. You've had like 1,000 years to get this hook back, mate. Are you seriously telling me you had to wait for some teenage girl to help you out? Anyway, so they get the hook and they go back to the island in time for the volcano demon to attack them, and Maui redeems himself by distracting it long enough for
So it's like Thor Ragnarok, but it's in Hawaii.
Moana to get to the demon,
that
only
it?
to realize the demon is the ocean goddess who turned evil after Maui stole her heart. So anyway, she puts it back and then everything's fine again. And that's it, that's the plot for Moana.
That doesn't seem like it's that bad. That seems like, I mean, for a kid, that's not so bad. Yeah, that's okay.
Right.
Sure.
Now, how best to describe this movie?
Yeah.
Well, you know when you reheat a takeaway the next day because you're too lazy and hungover to make yourself a proper meal? It's the same food you remember, and it sort of looks the same, but it's all gone a bit stale and unpleasant now, and you've got a sneaking suspicion it's going to leave you glued to the toilet bowl for the rest of the day. Well, that's basically live-action Moana for you.
Jesus.
Like I said before, it's practically a shot-for-shot remake of the...
It's this... So they just did it again. They just run it back.
Original, adding absolutely nothing new, expanding on none of the characters, scenes, or world building, and ultimately leaving you scratching your head why they even bothered to make it. You'd get the same exact effect if you ran the original through an AI filter and just told it to render it in photorealistic graphics.
Yeah, true.
In fact, it would probably be a better experience because then you wouldn't have to deal with some of the worst
Here's the best part about all of this.
prosthetics, least...
Disney has a thing where they can't show nipples. So in every scene of The Rock, they photoshopped his nipples out of the scenes. We're at, I want you to see, so we're at 4:14, okay? I want to just show a few more frames so you can see that this is clearly what's happening, all right? Where is it? Maybe, yeah. They're gone. And the original isn't there either. They're gone there as well. That's right. No nipples. Wow.
Wouldn't have to deal with some of the worst prosthetics, least convincing wigs, laziest acting, and ugliest visuals I've seen outside of Rings of Power. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with The Rock's ridiculous wig and unconvincing muscle suit, but holy god, seeing his tiny old man head perched atop this gigantic, disproportionate body almost makes Hassan Piker look normal. On that subject, actually, I suspect one of the big reasons for making this film now instead of waiting the obligatory 20 years was to get it out there while The Rock was still young enough to pull it off. The thing is, I hate to say it, but I think that ship might have sailed already.
What's sad about it is that, yeah, he's probably a bit too old for the role, but he would have been the perfect guy to play this character, right? I mean, realistically, like The Rock in the prime, like he would be the perfect guy to be his character. I mean, for sure.
Can't fault the man's work ethic, obviously, but no amount of pumping iron can change the fact he's in his mid-50s now, and facially at least, he fucking looks it, especially after dropping a bunch of weight recently. The Maui from the animated movie was this big, expressive, larger-than-life character. He wasn't meant to look like a realistic human because... well, he wasn't, and it worked.
Well, he does. I mean, I don't know. I've seen some guys from Hawaii that are like pretty close to that, man. I have. Now, there's not a lot of them, but there's some really like, there's the word heavy set. There's some heavy set dudes out there, right? There are. And especially over there, it's a Samoan. Yeah, exactly. He's a Samoan.
The Rock's voice combined with the over-the-top animations hid his acting shortcomings, and it was a perfect combination. Now he just looks like, well, The Rock. And that is not a good thing in this movie. On the plus side though, I can at least say that Catherine Lagaya does a good job as Moana. She's a good physical match for the character, she plays well off The Rock, and for someone who's never done a feature film before, I think she's a pretty good presence on screen.
If that's her first feature film and she's playing the lead character and she did a good job, that's really impressive. That's great.
As far as my praise goes, though. Visually, this film's another massive downgrade. Again, the animated movie was this vibrant, colorful cartoon world.
This is one of the things that, like, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but, like, I really noticed it a lot whenever I played Black Flag remastered, remaked, resynced, relooted, it's resynced. Is that these games used to be so much more colorful and vibrant, and I've noticed this with a lot of movies nowadays, that the color grading is just so flat. It's like you need to turn up the saturation a little bit more, right? I mean, you do. Like, is that weird for me to say? Like, it doesn't look like it's as colorful or vibrant as it used to be.
That look gorgeous because you could take it in
Yeah.
the spirit it was intended.
Exactly.
Trying to ground it in reality just leaves it looking flat and dull.
I don't even agree with that. I think that you could change the color grading on this. You could make it look way more vibrant. No, I mean, look at, like, for example, like, you know, you compare this to, I don't want to go super off topic here, right? I don't want to go super off topic, but I will just compare.
The Maui from the animated movie.
What just happened there? Okay. Like, if you look at this, for example, this is way more vibrant. Look at that.
But things are made to endure
See?
in the Shire, passing from one generation to the next. There's always been a Baggins living here under the hill in Bag
Man. It was beautiful. It was. It was absolutely fucking beautiful. Look at that. So I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this, bro. Like, you can do whatever you want to do.
And even worse, most of it looks like it was shot against a volume screen. The backgrounds look weirdly dimensionless and lit all wrong, and it's such a jarring disappointment because you'd think shooting in real locations would be the big pull of a film like this.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah. I mean, like, especially, you know, if you're trying to make a film like this that celebrates Samoan and Hawaiian culture, I mean, I feel like it'd be really a big deal, right? If you did it in Hawaii to bring so much tourism and obviously, you know, like, money into that state, right? Sure. It's a good point.
All that being said, though, at least the production worked hard to cast authentic actors and do justice to Polynesian
100%.
culture. Moana creatives on working closely to honor Polynesian culture and traditions and why representation matters in a live-action film.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Oh, fucking
Well, not all representation. Not every point of representation, right? And matters now, right? Well, yeah, I mean, there'll never be another Apocalyptico. I mean, that shit was crazy.
Really? That's
watching
interesting, isn't it? Interesting how cultural fidelity and authentic casting suddenly becomes important when your movie is about the right kind of people. In fact, I'm pretty sure I made this exact point in my Odyssey video.
A few days
There's this
ago.
weird assumption that every other culture, race, and ethnic group in the world are entitled to their own unique stories, history, and identity, and it all has to be carefully fenced off, protected, and respected. Whereas anything created by white Europeans is treated like some generic all-you-can-eat buffet that everyone's allowed to stick their hands into. Ladies and gentlemen, we officially live in Clown World. That's the only way I can
It's so obvious that's what they do, too. It's so obnoxious. I hate it. Stop using Hawaii as a skin suit? I don't think that I don't know if they were necessarily trying to do that, but at the same time, it's just weird to see that happen.
describe it at this point. Generations from now, academics are going to point to this period in human history and laugh their arses off about the sheer depth of our retardation. Anyway, I think I've wandered enough with this one.
That's
what
a
I'm trying to
fact.
say with all this pish is that the Moana live-action remake sucks, and if you want a viewing experience that won't make you lose faith in the human race, save yourself the money and just watch the original from 2016. It's a far better movie. Oh yeah, and just before I go, this is a little reminder that I'm doing a Comic-Con over the States this week, so you probably aren't going to see any more videos from me for the next several days. It's
shit.
okay though, I'm pretty sure you'll survive without me. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Yeah.